What's up, guys? It's Aaron, the trucking guy. Why do you suck trucking? I did it one time. I don't anymore, but why do you? Let's get right to it. You ready? Here we go. Not committed to doing the research. You jumped into something and you didn't do the research right before you got into it. I would never jump into something without doing in-depth research, going deep on that. So you need to do a deep dive on the research of what it takes to really be successful. And when I say research, I mean go to Google, go to AI, go to the industry experts, but go to Google to bare minimum and search, the top questions that were asked about the industry. If you go to Google and you ask a question, it'll say at the bottom similar questions or people also asked. And you can look at the questions from Wright Insurance Company. Is it too expensive? How profitable? How lucrative? This. All, just go through hundreds of them until you have answers and write them down. The ones that seem to be important, write them down and then scale them from 1 to 10. One being not that important, 10 being, super important, or vice versa. But that is important. Do your research and understand what it really takes to be successful in an industry. I've researched the shit out of my industry in both construction and in this industry, transportation, before I got into it, before I, started doing anything in it. I researched it. Okay. And even then I made mistakes because what I found from the research was not the top information because I wasn't dealing with experts. You need to get with industry experts who either will sell you their time and knowledge to get the skills you need, or will allow you to get around them at a bare minimum to, give you advice, whatever it is. There's paid mentorship and free mentorship. The paid mentorship is always going to be better because they're going to give you right, straight meat and potatoes, what you need to execute well, what you're doing wrong. And they can look at your business and not worry about hurting your feelings. Say, hey, you suck at this, you're good at this, focus on that, vice versa. Number two, you didn't do the math, right? You have to do the math. I do the math in anything I do. The numbers have to add up and the numbers have to work because numbers don't lie. People have a tendency to fall in love and get romantic about things that they're doing as far as a business, career, whatever. You can fall in love with trucking all you want. And if you're not making any money at it and you suck, then what the hell is the point, right? Period. Point blank. There is no point in getting into something if you're not going to make any money. There's a lot of things that I love to do for fun. Trucking is not one of them, right? I do this to make a profit, and I'm proud of that profit because we're good at it. Now, working on old cars, building, trucks. I do like driving cool trucks, but as far as, running a business and having liability and an arm out there that could get cut off, and metaphorically speaking, where I have drivers out there who could wreck, damage, kill, whatever, those things are liabilities. That's not something I do for fun, right? I have to be, justified in doing that by getting paid, by making a profit, right? Um, you have to do the math and say, okay, if I buy this truck, how am I going to make money? And do the math on conservative numbers. Don't ever, if you always have a number, like say a lot of people do it on 50 weeks, there are 52. Say I'm going to give Christmas and Thanksgiving off. I'm going to do all my numbers on 50 weeks. That is not a conservative estimate. That is not a conservative number. That is if everything goes right, if everything goes perfect, you're going to give them 2 weeks off. That truck's going to run 99% of the time. Trailer's not going to break down. Loads aren't going to cancel. Weather, no delays. Guy's not going to get sick, get COVID, whatever. At the end of the day, those are not good, transparent, conservative numbers. Those are hypotheticals, and you never want to do business on hypotheticals. You want to say worst case, 40 weeks, 35 weeks. 40 weeks is more of the consistent average, but 35 weeks, 30 weeks. Can we be profitable at 30 weeks if the truck runs 30 weeks a year? Right? At said numbers. And if your number is 7, 8, 9, 10,000, back that way down and see, okay, if we didn't do those numbers, if we hit those projections, great. If we don't, can we do it on this? And if you can't, then redefine it. Get the right trailer, get the right driver, or don't do it. If you can't do it at the worst and be consistent and be available to make it work and make a profit or even break even, don't do it. Okay. So the numbers have to add up. Do the math, but you have to have a target also. And a lot of businesses fail, or a lot of people fail in all kinds of goals, in marriage goals and parenting goals and weight loss goals and financial goals and business goals. If you don't have a target and you're just saying, man, I just want to work hard and I just want to make money, that's not a target. Okay. You need to say, I want to work hard and I want to make $1 million. Okay. Top line revenue where I profit 100,000. Okay. 10% margin next year. Okay. Business plan. Now I have a target. How can I get there? All right. Or we say, okay, I want my marriage to look like this in 90 days. Target what it looks like. How do we get there? because then we can build a plan to get there. You can't just go do business. You can't just go take loads and just ride around and think everything's going to work out great, because it's not necessarily. And you may do well for some time until some major thing comes and throws you off course, or because things happen in business, right? Things come into play, weather restraints, things get backed up, people get sick, people, catch illnesses and disease, whatever it is that's going to put you off your chart. You're going to say, okay, plan B is I get a driver. Plan B is I'm not going to drive. Plan B is the driver quits, I'm going to drive. Whatever it is, you need to have a plan, but most importantly, that target, where you're going, where you're headed, get a clean, concise vision of where that is, and then build a plan to get there. Okay. So target is most important. But again, followed by target is plan. Once we have said target, then we have to develop a step-by-step plan of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to execute such way. I'm not going to take time off because I have target. I have goal. I want to go, right? So you need a plan and what that plan looks like. And that plan needs to be conservative. You can't do it on hypotheticals, on ambitious goals that are not realistic. And you watched all these people on, YouTube, the internet, wherever, TikTok saying this. You have to set yours up for you and your capabilities and your skills until you develop new skills. Don't have those unrealistic goals and ambitions. You've got to get the skills required to meet that. And you have to achieve that level of success by doing what it takes to get there. If you continue to do things of how you know how to do them without leveling up, without getting the better skills, without having a plan, without having a target, you're never going to never going to reach your aspirations, right? You're never going to get there, because the people who got there had a plan, had a target, executed on that plan day in and day out, and then they deviated from it sometimes because they got thrown off or something happened that came into play. There's things that have happened to me, not because of me, that threw me off my goals and course and targets. And I had to overcome and adapt them. That's just life. Okay. But it's super important to have a plan. No education. If you're not going to go get educated in the space that you're in, go work for somebody else who will educate you, who will send you to training, who will pay for it. If you're not someone who likes learning and creates that as a lifestyle, you're never going to be successful in anything you do. It doesn't matter what it is, because you have to constantly be learning as things change and adapt, new ways of doing things, or, things, the environment around you is changing all the time. And if you're just oblivious to it and you didn't learn or know to forecast, hey, this is coming. These things are happening. These things are coming. I need to be prepared for them. I need to get readied. Okay. You have to go learn the right way to do things, the new way to do things, the new innovative ways, or the new ways in which other people around you want to do things, so that you can compete in the marketplace, so that you can, bring on people and they're like, hey, we don't want to do it this, antiquated way. We want to do it the new modern way that's easier or that's better or whatever. So learning, constantly learning, finding yourself in rooms of people learning, finding yourself at conferences, finding yourself at the doorstep of learning, whether that be reading books, watching YouTube, whatever it is, learning the things that you need to learn to level up every day. Podcasts, books, and not just particularly in transportation, but other skills that can relate over into that. So like sales, operations, doing numbers, accounting, all the things that you need to run a business, you can strengthen each one of those skills in the bag. Buying the wrong equipment. Don't do that. Don't buy the wrong equipment. I see a lot of people make that decision. They get all excited. They fall romantically in love with it. They buy the wrong equipment and like, oh, I'm getting set up. I'm getting all my equipment. And they have this crazy thought that they think they're getting equipped for something, but they're buying all the wrong shit. That's not going to really optimize the way to do things, when they could get with somebody or learn what it really takes, or learn what the demographic is saying or the peers are saying. No, you don't need that. You need this. Facebook groups are a great way to do that. Hey, I'm thinking about buying this trailer. What do you guys think? They'll roast you. Hey, I'm thinking about getting this truck. What do you think? They'll roast you. Go with the consensus of the majority saying, hey, you need to have a Detroit or a Caterpillar or a Cummins, not this International. Hey, you need to have a 40-foot trailer, not a 32 or 25. Hey, you need to get a CDL. Don't do non-CDL. It's dead right now. Hey, I was thinking about getting in and pulling campers. Don't do that. It's dead. Hey, I want to do this, and this. Hey, buy this type of trailer if you want to do boats. Hey, you want to do reefer, you need to do this. This is the market you want to stay in. Call this person, lease on with them. They have the plug on reefer. Whatever it is, you want to do that. Okay. So use those resources to kind of learn what equipment to get, what not to get, what to do and what not to do, as just a freebie. Be involved in the community, right? Maybe you bought some course and the course was bullshit because you're looking at someone who has a Lamborghini or whatever, and they made their money selling you courses. They did not make their money in the industry that you're wanting to go into, or they wouldn't be selling courses if they were wildly rich on it, right? So what I do see is, like Alex Hormozy says, the people are those that can do, and those that can't teach, right? You've heard that a million times, but it's true. And he's like, don't be someone who's trying to tell someone how to do something until you've really done it in your space. And I have. That's the only reason I'm doing this. I've actually done multiple years where we've done millions in revenue and ran trucks. So that's why I enjoy teaching people. I've also helped many people build fleets from 0 to 20 trucks fairly quickly, with inside of 6 months, if they follow the step-by-step program. But you can get with somebody else. It doesn't have to be me. My mentors taught me how to do what I know how to do now. I didn't just come up with this idea on my own. It's a fairly old idea that has been around since the beginning of trucking, right? But as far as the owner-operator model and the fleet builder model, that way that I teach, but somebody taught it to me and I teach it to other people. So, don't buy the BS course and don't fall into the BS. Make sure that the person that you're learning from actually has done it in the space. You don't know the right people. That's number one in anything you do in life and business is you don't get money from working, right? You get money from people. New people open up new opportunities and new places and new things, and you convince that person to do some sort of service or buy your product or invest in your company to get money from them. You're not going to just go out and just do work. You have to go meet a broker, call a customer, get set up. And that is how you get it, is through relationships. So meeting the right people. You don't know the right people. That's why you suck. Get to know more people, new people, and build that as a skill. That's a skill, guys. Meeting people, introducing yourself to people, finding and sourcing good people, top people, the right people. That's a skill. Okay. And being sociable in the fact that when you meet them, you have something to say that they give a shit about, right? Or that you're able to develop rapport or a dialogue with them. That is a skill in and of itself. If you can't do that, then you're never going to be successful in anything you want to do. Doesn't matter, because you got to sell yourself for a job, this, that, service, taking out the damn trash for somebody. It does not matter what it is. If you don't have that skill or strengthen that skill to a high level, you're never going to be successful. If you look at people like a Cardone or like a Trump or like a number of people, Andy Elliott or a Brad Lee or a Wes Watson, they have the ability to meet people, Andy Frisella, and just engage with them right away. Ask good questions, be personable, make them laugh, smile, have something interesting to say. They've done things in their life that are interesting. They have stories, relationships that they can, lean on and say, hey, I know that person. I did things with that person or this place or that place. I've been there. I've ate that. I've done this, and also be engaging as far as interested in the other person. Hey, what do you do? What are you proud of? How do blah, blah, blah. So that's a skill that you have to master. There's a lot of people that teach that skill. Go learn from them. Don't don't go thinking that you can't develop skills or you don't need to develop skills to do this job. To have a fleet or to be an owner operator or to be a dispatcher or to be any capacity and in any capacity in the industry, you've got to have skills of some sort, load securement skills, logistics skills, punctuality skills, being on time and understanding how to run your clock and be proficient in where you're supposed to be is when you're supposed to be there. Sales skills, operations skills, people skills to deal with drivers, brokers, customers, owner operators, DOT officers, toll booth people, what the hell, it doesn't matter what it is, co-drivers. You've got to be able to deal with all types of people, all types of personalities. And if you can't do that, or you're not willing to work on that skill, you're not going to be successful. Getting skills like sales, like operations, like maintenance, like safety, like, being good at accounting and knowing your numbers. It's simple equations that, like, if you don't know revenue minus fixed expenses, variable expenses equals profit, and you don't know your numbers and tracking your numbers and being habitual in that. And by habitual, I mean doing it consistently every day, reliably, consistently, so you can measure your numbers. Hey, I'm making money or I'm not making money. That's the most important skill, I say. If you can't do that, you don't even know if you're making money. You might say, oh man, I'm making money. I got $10,000 this week. But what'd you do last week, the week before, last month, last year, beginning of the year, the Q1, Q2? If you don't understand, what you're making day by day, quarter by quarter, week by week, load by load, minute by minute, your cost per mile to operate, all of these things, you're never going to be successful. You're just not. And those are skills, just like a muscle and going to the gym and working out. You have to develop these skills and get better at them. Learn from people who can teach you how to be better at them. There's a ton of resources online. Look up Andy Elliott, Brad Lee, Grant Cardone, Wes Watson. The list goes on and on and on. There's a ton of YouTubers out there. Andy Frisella. There's so many people out there. The Muscle that can teach you, communication skills, ambition, a lot of motivation. But bottom line is you got to be willing to go learn some new skills, and then you won't suck as you get leveled up. We all suck in the beginning at everything we go to do new because we don't know it. But once you learn it, you suck less and less and less as the process goes on. And then eventually you become proficient at it. And hell, from a certain standpoint, you can say, I still suck at it. I'm not at the $100 million level. I know people that are, and I'm constantly asking them questions and learning from them, but I'm not there. So at a certain level, if you were in that room and you were part of that crew, you could say, man, that guy sucks. So it's all perspective, but learn the skills. That's the Trucking Guys 2 cents for you. It's opinion. Everybody's got one, but be willing to do those things and then you won't suck. Thank you for tuning in.